A Fox News host is now admitting recession is coming under Donald Trump, but it will be the fault of Joe Biden. That's right. Joe Biden, president for 4 years, was terrible for the economy, even though we could find no economic indicator that proved that. But now, months after Biden is out of office, the truly destructive subterfuge of his economic policies will finally come to light and hurt the economy now. It's not Trump's tariffs. It's not Trump cutting government programs and laying off thousands of federal workers and generally behaving like an unpredictable toddler. Got it. It's Biden's policies, which had no negative impact for 4 years. They are now coming to light. Here is Maria Bartiromo on Fox News over the weekend saying, I said this thing on Twitter about how it would be Biden's recession. And it would be Biden's recession, and now they're coming after me.
That's, by the way, that's why I said earlier it would be Biden's recession. And I know the haters out there will slam me later. The other day I said something and they went nuts on me on Twitter, on X. I said, well, how come I don't see any Dodge Rams or Dodge, pickup trucks in Europe? And they went nuts on it. But it's true. I see all the Mercedes and the Audis and the whole
Mercedes
9 yards here in America, but I don't see any of the American-made cars there. That's it. That's the point I was making, Steve.
Well, yeah, and the reason why is look at the quality of the average German car and look at the quality of the what do you think is a better car? A little Audi A1 or I don't even want to disparage. Yeah, fill in the blanks, folks. Okay, now on the issue of it would be Biden's recession. Let's really unpack. We're all packed up. We've got to unpack it because it's a fascinating example of how political narratives will often clash with economic reality, and how the transition of power between presidents is often totally misrepresented in partisan discourse. So let's start by just establishing the timeline. Joe Biden left office almost 2 months ago. During Biden's presidency, by most measurable economic indicators, the economy was strong. Unemployment was low. You could go, well, it was low for unemployment was low, and we've measured it the same way for 55 years. Job growth was consistent. GDP growth was steady. And now, 2 months into Donald Trump's presidency, the economy is showing signs of strain. We see volatile stock markets. As I record this once again, as after numerous days of stock market declines, the Dow is down 500 points. The NASDAQ is down 600 points. If it closed right now, I believe this would be the worst day for the NASDAQ in I don't know how long. Consumer confidence is dipping. Consumer spending dropped by the biggest margin from January to February. And we are now talking about a possible recession. So how does Maria Bartiromo connect the dots? She says that the recession we are now facing is the result of Biden's policies, which miraculously are only now starting to take effect. Now, I want to be objective here. I make no effort to hide that I am on the political left, but I also want to be as objective as I can when it comes to these economic indicators. My opinion is it's better for abortion to be legal. It is a fact that we don't want to overblame or underblame presidents who can't and don't control everything. There are global business cycles, ups and downs. Presidents, however, can bend the curve, so to speak. And what has Trump been doing since he got back in the White House? Well, let's see. Massive new tariffs, which will make everything more expensive, which lead to retaliatory tariffs, which will make everything more expensive. Cutting government programs, meaning fewer jobs and reduced economic stability. The layoffs of federal workers, which directly reduce consumer spending. Pushes for deregulation, which will set the stage for even further economic instability. And if Biden's policies were so disastrous, why didn't they cause a recession during his presidency? Why did the economy thrive under his administration only to suddenly collapse 2 months after he left office? The answer is simple, because the current economic downturn has way more to do with what Trump is doing than what Biden did 2 months ago, 12 months ago, 24, 36, or 48 months ago. Sometimes the simplest explanation is the right one. When the economy is doing well, partisans are quick to credit their side. When it's doing poorly, they're even quicker to blame the other side. This is a pattern we've seen time and time again. During Trump's first term, Republicans were quick to credit him for the strong economy he inherited from Obama, even though the effects of Obama's policies were in play. Now we're seeing the inverse. Biden is being blamed for an economic downturn that is occurring under Trump's watch. And it's not just intellectually dishonest the way this is being handled. It's a deliberate attempt to rewrite history and shift the blame. Now, here's the truth. Presidents do not have absolute control over the economy. They can influence it, certainly. But the idea that Biden's policies are somehow responsible for a recession on a delay months after he left office is absurd. If anything, the current economic challenges are related to specific policies. This is not just we blame Trump because he's president. We have to ask ourselves the question, what changed? I'm going to give you an example. The day after Biden took office in January of 2021, immediately, every border crossing by an undocumented immigrant was blamed on Biden. Biden had not yet done anything. And so we have to zoom out and say, country of 340 million, almost no matter what your policies are, some people are going to cross the border illegally. Maybe it's not about Trump or Biden policies. Maybe it's that this is just a thing that happens in the United States to some degree, no matter what the policies are. On the other hand, now there's a whole list of things that Trump is doing that are different. The trade war, laying off federal workers, belligerent statements about what he's going to do next. So we aren't just generically saying Trump's president, so it's his fault. We are saying he has bent the curve by changing policy. So if there is a recession, it's not Biden's recession. You know who else they're going to try to blame if they can? Obama. Yeah, it's not Obama's recession. It would be a Trump session, the result of the policies and actions of the current administration. We've got to hold them accountable, because if there's one thing we should have learned by now, it's that economic realities don't care about partisan narratives. They just are what they are. Did you know that countless commercial databases and people search sites are storing your personal information? Anyone, from an employer to a former partner, can use these platforms to get details about your online presence, your home address, phone number, email, license plate, family members, financial information, even political views. Europe has laws that offer some protection, but in the US, the data is widely accessible. Even the FBI will buy this information from companies to spy on people without a search warrant. Our sponsor, Incogni, provides a solution. It takes just seconds to sign up, and Incogni will send removal requests to all of the major data brokers, legally compelling them to get rid of your data. Incogni keeps you informed throughout the process. You'll get real-time updates, who has complied, which ones are still pending. They'll handle follow-ups, they'll handle appeals on your behalf, and this will save you hundreds of hours. Very few people have the time or resources to do this on their own. This service can also reduce the number of spam calls and emails you get, since many solicitors and scammers get your information from these very same sources. Go to incogni.com/Pacman and use the code Pacman for 60% off. The link is below.